Oh my God, there's a cow looking at me. Well, hello everyone. Monique Renee here from Silver Paw Studio. And right now I am out in the beautiful hills near Fort Collins, Colorado. And Steve and I are actually filming an episode for our new channel, Cattail Chronicles. But it's so pretty out here. I figured I would stop and make a little video for you too. All right, come on. All right, so I did a poll recently, or just asked a question in the Pro Pet Photog Facebook group, and I asked what people wanted to know that are in the group and on the Pro Pet Photog email list. If you don't know what those are, I'll put links in the description. And I said, do you want to learn more about the craft of photography, the business end? I put a couple of questions in there. And surprisingly, the majority of people who answered wanted to know more about the business side, which I love to talk about. And I like to have a good mix here on the channel, but I've decided I have a few topics I want to talk about. So I'm going to sprinkle them in here the next several weeks. In amongst photography topics. So I'd love your feedback on this kind of, not really a series, but what I'll be talking to you about. And I think what I want to start with though, I will get into the nuts and bolts of like all the technical things you need to do to start a pet photography business, how to market, how to set prices and find clients and keep them happy. Of course, all of those are awesome. There's a couple of things I want to talk to you about before we even get to that phase, because in my talks with people, I realize this could be a huge, huge stumbling block. So two things I want to talk to you about today. The first thing I want to talk to you about is the idea of, am I good enough? And I know I've talked about this in other episodes, but I want to give you a kind of a litmus test, a test to find out if you think that you're good enough. And I'm not here to judge your actual photography. Like if we did a one-to-one, I can tell you things that would typically sell in my studio and that clients are looking for. What I'm talking about more is technical. Like a lot of people want to know, are they technically good enough? And there's a super easy test that you could do for yourself that could tell you right away if you're good enough. Are you ready for this? Okay. My tip number one to find out if you're kind of technically good enough is to look at your body of work and your favorite photos. Could you replicate those tomorrow? Like, do you remember how to set your camera without monkeying around the back? Do you remember how to talk to the client and get the animal in place? Can you get the lighting there? Do you remember how to frame it and edit it? Can you repeat your favorite photos over and over? If a client said, oh my gosh, I love that image of yours, I want to hire you to take similar images of mine, my pets and my family, could you do it that week? Pretty easy test, right? That's really all you need to do, because that's when you start kind of finding your flavor and your style and finding out what works for you and what doesn't and what your clients like. Really, it just starts with those few favorites. And think of that in your mind right now. And I did a client session out here actually. And if I was to come out here again with a client, would I be able and confident in my skills all around to repeat good photos? Not the same as the last client, but would I say, okay, I know what lens, I know what settings, I know what time of day, I know kind of where I want the dogs to be. This would be a dog or a horse type of setting. And I could repeat that and have a nice gallery of images to show a client within about an hour or two. So that's really all you need to know. If you're wondering, how do I know if my pictures are good enough to sell and become a pro photographer? In my mind, that's your first step. For the next point, I'm going to rearrange the camera because this is important and I want you to be closer. What do those YouTubers do? They like zoom in. So we're going to zoom in. All right, so are you listening to me? Do I have your attention now? The next step is purely a mindset step. And this is gonna sound silly, but if you have not done this, there is huge, huge power in it. And I have challenged people to do this and they have cried during this. So I'm not trying to make you cry. But if this is something you really, really want to test and see if you're ready, do this second step. Are you ready? Seriously. It's all it is claiming it. Just saying, hey, I'm Monique, I'm a photographer. Can you say that? Say your name and that you're a photographer. If you want to add the extra, say, I'm a professional pet photographer. And really, like, look in a mirror, look in your selfie camera on your phone, whatever it is. There is huge power in that, because what a lot of people will do is they'll dance around it a little bit, like, oh, you know, I take a couple pictures, I'm okay, I've got this other job I'm better at, whatever it is, and you never quite get to that point where you say, I'm a photographer. And we're so lucky in our, you know, our career choice that we don't need a 4-year degree and a certificate or anything, any special papers. We just announce it. And I really do think that is, like, once you say that and you make that step to say, I'm a photographer, pretty much the rest of it will fall into place, because your mind will say, okay, we're going to do this next and this next, and we're committed now, and this is part of who we are. It's not just this kind of thing that we're dabbling in. And so you could still dabble, that's fine. I'm out here having fun, taking pictures of flowers, awesome. But if your goal is to be a professional photographer, try that, say, I'm a photographer. Does that make sense? Are you gonna try it? I want you to try it, and then tell me in the comments how you felt after that, and if you felt a shift in yourself. Because if you haven't ever said that before, and this is really something you want to do, you will feel a shift, trust me. And then you might become obsessed, so I might be giving you a new obsession, but I don't see anything wrong with that. So those are my 2 things. Now, be watching this channel, subscribe and like and do all those things, because I am going to sprinkle in some more like practical advice and some more mindset things, but there's so many questions that aren't answered out there for all of you. You know, you can go to Pro Pet Photog and be part of the membership and look at all the things I have there. But I want to have some just general advice out here on YouTube for all y'all too, with running a photography business and all of the pricing and marketing and all of those things, kind of as an overall view of what that's like, so you have a little bit more knowledge going into it. So I am going to go enjoy this beautiful summer day here in Colorado with Emmy and Steve and the cows and my camera, and I'm going to be out here having fun being a photographer, and I will see you next week. I hope you enjoyed this, and as always, I wish you many woofs, purrs, and TREATSs. Oh my gosh, even the cows heard me. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, bye. Okay. Hello, cows. There's like, the baby cows are just right there. Hello, babies. Hi.